Thank you all for joining us today for the start of Innovation Week in Calgary. I'm Shelley McKeating. I'm a facilitator and workshop designer from Calgary. Besides facilitation, my background is in corporate communications, web design, and brand strategy. I'm here with Matthew Shipp, and he's joining us from St. Charles, Missouri. Matthew, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. I'm Matthew Shipp. I have a background in the ag tech with plant molecular biology, and for about 16 years, and recently just made a 2-year pivot into helping businesses, find their processes, find their alignment, and get things done better. I'm Matt. I'm from just outside of St. Louis. If you don't know where St. Charles is, in St. Louis, Missouri. Glad to be here.
Thanks, Matt. For the agenda today, this is going to be 3 quick tips to end collaboration chaos, and then we'll put those tips to use in a short workshop. And before that, we'll have just a quick warm up on Miro. I don't know if you could put in the chat or give me a thumbs up. How many of you have used Miro before? If you've used it before, give me a thumbs up or a yeah. Oh, so quite a few of you, maybe half of you.
All right, good.
So what's the problem with regular meetings? You've probably all seen the headlines and experienced it yourself. The average person wastes 31 hours in unproductive meetings every month. There's a lot of problems with meetings being not so inclusive. Women and actually people of color are less likely to feel comfortable speaking up in meetings, and they're more likely to be interrupted when they do. And billions of dollars are wasted in unproductive meetings every year. So why don't regular meetings work for collaboration and problem solving? Meetings are great for sometimes there's reasons you just need to have a weekly check-in, or you want to just catch up with your team. But when you actually want to collaborate and problem solve, it's not the best way necessarily for that, at least not unstructured meetings. You've probably experienced conversations being dominated by the extroverts or the senior person in the room. Others are reluctant to speak up, and the best ideas may never be discovered. Bias and groupthink can take over, with most of the team jumping on the bandwagon of the hippo, the highest paid person's opinion. Discussions go off topic, nothing is decided, and everybody leaves feeling frustrated. So what's the solution? We'll go into the 3 tips you can try with your own team today to try to prevent these issues. And then we'll put them to use in a short workshop. The first tip is we work together alone. This may seem sort of counterintuitive because you're together in the meeting in person or online, but this means that you are collaborating together in real time. But instead of discussing ideas openly or random brainstorming, you're silently noting them down on sticky notes. Why do we do this? Together alone provides a safe space for all team members to contribute. Bias and groupthink are greatly reduced as ideas are judged on their merits and not who they came from. All the employees feel valued, heard, and respected. More inclusive meetings ensure a greater diversity of representation, opinions, and ideas. So before we get to the next tip, let's try a quick experiment. If you've got a pen and paper handy, we're going to look at the words on the next screen. And you're not going to write them down yet, but just try to memorize as many as you can. And I'll give you about 10 seconds. Okay, now take 20 seconds to write down as many words as you can remember. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's 20 seconds, but. So how many did you remember? Just maybe give me a number or write down in the chat.
Yeah, type out your number in the chat. 7.
Typically, people remember about 5 to 7. So if you did better than that, then you're doing awesome. But that's, or maybe you didn't have your coffee today if you remember less than that. In a typical meeting, we can be faced with hundreds of pieces of information coming at us from all directions at the same time. And it's really almost impossible for us to remember and evaluate that information. So the best way to innovate is not to rely on memory. So we visualize discussions. We visualize and standardize the discussion, which helps our brains to understand and prioritize the information. And it provides a consistent reference point for all ideas. So you can use sticky notes, you can sketch your idea on a paper or whiteboard, but everyone will be looking at the same information, not taking notes that independently that they are just taking them for themselves, but they're sharing the same information. And the number 3 tip is to time box everything. We use a timer to keep things moving, and this ensures that you have time to accomplish the goal of the meeting. Sometimes this feels rushed or uncomfortable, but it really helps everyone to focus on the task at hand without overthinking things. But you should build in a time buffer when you're planning your sessions so that you can be flexible and allow extra time for some exercises and a little bit of structured discussion when it's needed. So now we're going to go into Miro, but first Matthew's going to give a bit of a introduction to Miro, and then we'll do a quick warm up.
All right, let me get my share up here. All right, so if everyone can see everything all right, we're going to learn real quick. We're going to share a link with you in a few minutes, and that'll bring you into the Miro board through your browser. And beforehand, there's a few things, just kind of housekeeping. If you've never used Miro before, a couple things you want to do is, if you are using a PC with a mouse or a Mac with a mouse, or you have to identify whether or not you're using a trackpad. So first thing we need to do, I'm going to show it shows right here. So in case you'll be here, you can see the guide. But I'm going to show you in person. So you go up here to the settings key, click on that settings. You would go to preferences, navigation, and either choose whether you're using a trackpad or a mouse. It also has an auto switch function, but sometimes it doesn't catch it fast enough, and so you get kind of frustrated why you can't move your screen around. So that is the first thing you need to do. As soon as you get in, you get the link, it'll bring you in. It may ask you to sign up. You shouldn't have to sign up. If that's the case, try refreshing your screen. If that doesn't work, close the browser and click on the link in the Zoom chat once again. And we have not put it in the Zoom chat yet. We will put that in a minute. And then try opening it up again. It should just take you directly in as a guest. All right, keep that in mind. And then finally, a couple of movement controls. Here we have the mouse. So the left click is for like moving around elements, sticky notes, digital sticky notes. The right will grab the entire board and move it. As you see, I'm doing right here. You just click and hold down your right button, you'll move it. The scroll wheel will zoom in and out from the point of where your mouse is. So if I put the mouse over here on this T at trackpad and zoom in, I will zoom in directly to that T or away from that T. So anywhere you have. This is a good way to zoom in, to write in, to zoom out, to find out your orientation. All right. And some people have gotten in. Okay. Then finally, if you are on a trackpad, it is the pinch zoom method to zoom in, or a 2-finger to scroll the entire board. And again, you're just controlling the mouse and clicking and holding to move an element. So again, pinch zoom for zooming in and out if you're using a trackpad on your laptop. Again, this is very, as far as tablets and phones, it's almost impossible to use. Tablets, it's very difficult to keep up. So I encourage you to, hopefully you have a laptop or a piece or a desktop. When we get this to you, if you do have trouble getting on and you just can't figure it out, let us know. We're going to keep up the shared screen so you can follow along. When it comes to creating ideas, you can also let us know that you can't get in, and you can type some of those in the chat, and we'll try to transfer some of those when we do some of the workshop exercises. So when you get the link, you'll be taken directly to the cage gauge, and I want everybody to take a coin and drag it over how you're feeling today. So just click and drag that element with your left mouse button. All right. So I think did you share everything, Shelley? Is everybody in?
Yeah, I've shared it, but
okay.
I think there's 9 people in or 10 people in. So maybe just
okay.
as you're coming in, you can start to.
Yeah. And I just admitted one more person, so somebody just came into the chat. So go ahead and just drag that point over how you're feeling today. Everybody's in here. You got some happies, relaxed. You got somebody's excited. Awesome. Stressed. Oh boy, feel you. And meh, no bees. Oh, I guess that's a good thing. Carefrees. Okay, relaxed. All right. Focused. So what am I? I am focused. All right. So once you get that, go ahead and Shelly will bring everybody over to the warm-up, click into slides. So this is how we're going to capture ideas, is using the sticky note. So what we need you to do is pick a sticky note, double click on it like you would, and then type your name in. And if there's more, we can always create. Do we have enough people for enough stickies? Always create more. All right, so we've got, I think is that everybody who got their name in. Shelly, repost the link if somebody just joined in so they can see that link again, to hop on the Miro board. All right, so you're not in the Miro board, there it is again. You may have missed it if you just joined. Just click on that and you can look at the navigation piece. Everybody okay to move? Everybody understand the navigation? It seems like everybody's getting where they need to be. All right. So if you have any troubles, holler in the chat, and we'll do what we can. Again, if you cannot get in for whatever reason, or you're having really problem challenges, we will leave up the share screen so you could follow along. And when we get to the point where we could create ideas, and like I said, putting your name in the stickies, we can probably put some of those in the chat, and we'll copy those over for the people who cannot get into the Miro board. All right, I am going to drop my share, and I'm going to hand it back to Shelly.
Okay. From time to time, I'm going to bring everyone to me. That might feel a little bit jarring, but just to make sure we're all on the same screen in Miro.
Now, for people that are on the board, you can minimize the Zoom. It can get really confusing flipping back and forth, and just focus on what we're saying and the exercises on the Miro board. I know if you're on a laptop, you'll try to move elements, and you actually realize you're trying to move an element on the Zoom screen. So
if you haven't yet, then it might be helpful to make the Miro screen take about 2/3 to 3/4 of your board or of your screen, and then just have Zoom taking up a little corner. So next, we're going to put these tips that we learned to use in a structured meeting or workshop called Lightning Decision Jam. Lightning Decision Jam is a short but powerful workshop, great for retrospectives, innovation meetings, and problem solving as a team. If you think of the tips as ingredients, then a workshop like this is a recipe that brings together various ingredients and techniques to achieve an outcome. So like another example, if you've heard of a design sprint, that would be another one, another recipe that's made of a lot of different ingredients and exercises, or strategy workshops, or just depending on what the outcome is that you're looking for. So today, the focus of the Lightning Decision Jam, since usually this would be for a team that has a common challenge. So today, the challenge that we're going to start with is, what are our biggest challenges to innovation? And then we'll further refine that as we go. So we're going to start with the sailboat exercise. The sail is a metaphor for what's moving us forward, and the anchor is a metaphor for what's holding us back. It's a great tool to visualize our challenges and decide what to focus on. We'll start by thinking positive. What has moved us forward in innovation during 2022? But instead of open discussion, we'll work together alone and write down our ideas using the green sticky notes. And I'm just going to zoom in here. And so for example, the project kickoff was amazing. The recent team training event was awesome. Or local mentors have been very helpful launching our new product. you're going to write down, when we start the timer, you're going to write down one positive thing per sticky, as many as you can until the time is up. Together alone, in silence, without discussion, quantity over quality. So don't overthink it.
Don't worry about creating stickies. We will create them for you on the fly.
Yeah. So I'll set the timer for 3 minutes. Usually that would be, be a little bit longer, but we're doing a little bit tighter version today.
No
Okay,
problem.
go ahead. If you haven't already.
Ooh. Nope. So Samar, go ahead and paste that into one of those stickies. There you go. Double click on your sticky. That'll allow you to type into it. And don't worry about copying. I'll just keep on making more as we need. Yeah. Some good ones here.
Matt, could you repaste the Miro board link?
Somebody
just, oh, okay, thanks.
Some good participants here. This is awesome. Got a lot of things moving the innovation community forward.
For those of you who just joined, we're in the Miro board right now, and maybe Matt, if you could just repaste it again for those that just entered.
Did they not get it? Okay.
Yeah, somebody just came in.
Put it in.
Okay, then
finish up your ideas and.
Yeah, that's great. We've got lots of good ideas here, and only we're a little bit extended because the timer, but in just over 3 minutes, we've got lots of ideas. See if I'm just zoom in here. People like working from home. People are liking meeting people in person after COVID. For those who just joined, we're talking about things that are moving us forward over the past year in innovation in Calgary. Collaboration between people from different disciplines and backgrounds. So these are all things that are going well. So that's great. Now we're going to think negative. We're going to start gathering challenges or problems that you or your team are facing. What obstacles to innovation are holding you back? So you're going to think negative. You're going to write as many problems or obstacles as you can in 4 minutes. And you're going to use the orange sticky notes, writing one thing per sticky, again, working silently without discussion. And these, in typical situation, they're essentially anonymous. So that helps people feel more comfortable really being honest. I'll show you a couple of examples here. So it could be things like the project timeline was too short. Getting funding has been a challenge. Some people on our team didn't have clear tasks. So
You set your timer?
Yeah, I'll
we're
set the
going.
timer. For those of you who just joined in Miro, we're just at the bottom of the sailboat, and you just are taking one of these sticky notes and just type in there. You can just double click and then type what's holding you back.
As it pertains to?
As it pertains to what obstacles are holding you back in innovation. This could be within your team or within the city. What problems within the innovation community, within your company? Just what sort of things are holding you back innovating? I'm not sure.
Our boat was locked.
Yeah, I thought it was locked. Not sure why that.
Yeah, we can go wide with this. What's holding the community back, innovation community? What's the individual technologies that are holding you back?
I see Elon Musk made both sides of the sailboat.
I love it. He's a polarizing character, is he not?
I think we've got a lot of ideas, so I think that we'll just go for another 20 seconds.
All right.
And it looks like you finished with your ideas generally, so we'll finish there. So great. But you've got lots of challenges out there. So the next thing we're going to do is prioritize these. We're going to first take a look and just review, just take a look at what everybody else has written, and then we're going to vote on what you think is the most important thing, the biggest challenge that's holding you back that you'd like to work on today. So we're going to use these voting dots, which I'm just going to bring them a little closer to where we are, and
Bring it to the front.
And bring to the front. So the easiest way to do this is just sort of like what you did with the coins on the cage gauge. Just select one of the voting dots and copy, Command C, and then hover your cursor over what you want to choose, and you paste. And everybody gets 3 dots. I think that we'll only need maybe 2 minutes for this, but the only rule is use all 3 dots. You can put 2 dots on, you can put all 3 dots on one thing. But maybe it takes some time, if you can, to look at what other people have written too. Okay. So I'm going to set the timer for, I'll set the timer for 2 minutes. And we'll see how it goes.
So after you're done voting with your 3, just wait for everybody else. Actually, I used to do the, let's see. So if you are done voting, let's see if this works. You can put your little cursor in the spaceship. Three dots.
That's an idea. I'm going to move the spaceship closer. It's like,
okay.
Good idea.
Yep.
Okay. Looks like everybody's finished voting, and Matthew's just doing some housekeeping so we can still read everything. So next we're going to just look and see which were the top upvoted challenges. And these are the ones that we'll decide from these what we're going to work on today. So bring them all over here. This one has 4, both have 4.
So
4, 3, 3. I think that's enough to focus on. So
yeah, I'm just grouping up real quick.
okay.
Yeah, I think we got them all. Okay, so I'm gonna take these guys over and rank them over. Where am I? We are.
Okay. Okay, so should I stop sharing now, Matthew, and then we can go into the next?
Yeah, go ahead. I'll get mine going here.
Okay.
All right. So real quick, we're going to rank these. It looks like we have quite a few 3s and 4s. So we're going to move forward with one of these. And there's several ways you can do this. And I'd love to talk to you guys more about different strategies of whether, like, for instance, you had a decider or not, and the importance of having one or even not having one. And we're going to have offer you guys a free discovery call. So anybody who wants to know more about this process and how it might work for you. But for the sake of time, we're going to go with probably the very top one here. And the reason why is it's a little bit more succinct in its explanation. It's not a one word, because usually a one word problem needs a little bit more explanation. And you can go very broad and get very lost. So we're going to go with no ownership of activities and need a spearhead. Now, this one, going to need still a little bit of explanation. So if anybody wants to chime up what they meant by ownership of activity to spearhead, is this there's no leader, or does this mean there is no no goal in mind and it's just kind of going? So if anybody wants to take off their chat and kind of describe what they meant by no ownership of activities need a spearhead.
Do you want me to just chat what I meant by that?
Just tell us real quick.
Yeah, so my intention was, and everyone might have had a different interpretation of this, of course, but my intention was that you guys, you have a meeting, you agree that there needs to be a problem that needs to be solved, but at the end of the day, no one is assigned ownership of completing the activities.
Okay.
Or if they are, they're unclear what the actual deliverables are. So there's a few things that can be wrapped into that, but really, who's doing the work?
Okay, so actionables. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this problem and we're going to reframe it into a challenge. And how we do that is turn into what we call a how might we statement. And how might we does three things. The how suggests there's going to be a solution. Might means there's going to be multiple solutions to this potential challenge. And we indicates now is not just one person's problem, it's the collective, all of us that have generated this and voted on it and said this is one of our greater challenges. We are now going to, as a group, work on the solution together. It also puts you in a really good mindset of thinking of solutions while not prescribing solutions. So, so this is just a way to rewrite it, to rethink a challenge. It is very effective. And usually when you in a group, you say, how might we, everybody kind of tunes back in. It's not just an individual's problem anymore. So, and you can kind of restructure that. So we have a how might we, and this is usually you can work with a group or your facilitator can kind of work on these. So, you know, how might we, let's see, we call these activities, activities that have actionable or actionable.
What actions and people assigned.
Assigned.
Yeah. Actions assigned.
And, yes. Geez.
Action steps decided and assigned.
Yeah. Activities decided. Yeah, sure. Activities or action. You want to put that in?
There's another aspect of this of definition of done. Like, what does it mean to be done?
Okay.
Also needs to be clarified.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's fine. That would be, okay, I got you. Go ahead and Shelley, put your piece in. I have an idea for the rest of it. And sometimes this is how might we works. Usually you kind of talk this out just a little bit to rephrase that problem so we have good clarity. But enough people felt this was important enough that it got 4 votes out of, as you see how many challenges we came up with in a very short amount of time and how quickly we narrowed it down to the top 6. This is the key about this workshop. Can you not type again? Okay.
Spell.
Yeah.
Actions and Andrew, does that sort of represent something we could try to solve
Yeah,
today?
absolutely. Yeah, it's a great example.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Great. So this is kind of, so now you can see we've taken just that general problem, no ownership of activities, need a spearhead. We kind of explained that out. We said, how might we ensure projects have actions and responsibilities assigned to accomplish this goal? Now we've further narrowed down from all the challenges to one, to reframing it as a group challenge versus just a problem. What we would do next is we would take this guy, move him out of the way. Okay. And I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. This is going to become our group goal now. Our group's how might we. So the next step is to create a mass of solutions. Now, the idea about this is we're not going for the greatest ideas. We're going to have 5 minutes, and what we need is we have a lot of people here. We have a lot of mind. We have a lot of diversity of thought, and we're going to capture this in 5 minutes. So what we're after is quantity over quality. Did you guys like to start ahead of me? So, but having said that, we still need you to be succinct. So I have here an example. So not a great answer is for something that's like communicate better. Well, that's great. Or make more money. That great solution. I want to know how to make more money. Something a little bit better is being a little bit more clear. You know, use email to communicate. But a really good thought out. And again, we're going after quantity over quality is like, you know, survey your team on the way they would like to communicate. That's a way better idea. Now, you're going to get a lot of yellows and some greens, so to speak, but try to bet your best to avoid the red sticky type of one sentence or one obvious phrases, generalized phrases for solutions. All right. So are there any questions right now? All right. So I'll go ahead and this is the same thing. 1 idea per sticky. You have 5 minutes. We're going for quantity quantity over quality. So as you generate these out, what you're going to find is your quality will actually get better as you're putting as many out as you possibly can. All right, Shelly, you want to set a timer for 5 minutes?
Okay.
And we'll keep the stickies coming.
Sorry, could you be a bit
Yeah.
more clear about what we are going to be typing in?
So we're looking for solutions to how might we ensure projects have actions and responsibilities assigned to accomplish the goal.
Okay.
So
All right.
we're looking for, any kind of solutions you can think of, as many, and just go for it. If you get stuck, I've often found if you get stuck on one, retype it, the same thing, but in a different way. And eventually it'll kind of get your brain out into the next gear, and new things will start showing up.
All right.
That's
Thank
why
you.
we're doing quality. Yeah, no problem.
If anyone isn't comfortable writing on the stickies, you can also just type your suggestions, your ideas in the chat, and then I'll paste them into a sticky for you.
All right. We got 24 seconds left. Go ahead and start finishing up your last ideas. Right. Okay, so in a more, if we had more time, we would take these and we'd probably categorize some of these and find out where the duplicates are, but in the sake of time, we're going to go ahead and just like we did last time, we're going to do the voting. Everybody gets 3. Go ahead and make a duplicate of that, Shelley, because there's more people than there are dots here.
Okay.
I'm going to pull that down. Oops. Okay. Hold on. All right, so same rules apply. Each person gets 3 voting dots. Read through these, take a second to read through these. The rule is use all your dots. You can vote multiple times on one on each. You can vote on your own multiple times on your own if you really like your idea. But go ahead and take about the next 3 minutes to look over all the ideas and choose, vote on the ones you like the best. We'll go ahead and start that timer, Shelley.
Okay.
Okay, is everybody done voting, or we still got a few more on the board? Oh, we got a few more. Okay, you got a minute. Lisa, just zoom up on your dot so you can click the, there you go. Whoop. There we go.
Okay, 10 seconds.
Yeah, get your dots up. All right, great job, everyone. So I'm going to go ahead and take the highest ones. Shelley, if you want to start explaining
Okay.
the action board, and I'll start shoring these up and ranking them while you're doing that.
Okay.
All right, I'll drop
Oh.
share, let you pick that up.
Okay. Okay, now we're going to move over to the action board. This is an effort impact scale, and we use this to further prioritize the solutions. An important part of innovation is getting comfortable with failing, and sometimes it helps to think of your solutions as experiments. So we're going to use this to help us decide what to do first. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to take grab this, how might we, because we want to keep this in mind. And then we're going to bring these top voted solutions. And I'm just going to start with the first one. And we usually do this as a group. I don't know if you want to unmute. I will take the first one, regular meetings following workflow process being utilized. So I'm just going to think of first, think of what would have the most impact on to solve our problem. Ensuring projects have actions and responsibility assigned to accomplish the goal. So I'm going to put this in the middle and just thinking of the impact for now. Would this have a high impact or a low impact? You can shout it out or put in the chat what you think. If
Yeah,
this
this
is
is the first time you're allowed to talk in the meeting.
yeah, you're allowed to talk. If you want to unmute yourself.
Okay, we got some people saying hi. We got 2 highs in the chat.
Okay.
So a little bit higher. Anybody else? Anybody else? We got. Yeah, turn to
We
an
will-
auctioneer here. We got 2 highs, 2 highs, 2 highs. Anybody said that's it? No higher.
Okay.
Everybody's
So
agreeing. Okay.
Leave that one there. Then we'll go on to the
Mhm.
next one, which is after assigning roles, ensure there's capacity for the work to be done. Whoops. Okay, so after assigning roles, ensure there's capacity for the work to be done could involve reevaluating priorities. So we're going to take this one and we're going to look at where should it fall relative to the first one? Would it have more impact or less impact? So maybe just tell me more or less than the first
Got 2
one.
high, hires, more.
More?
Get 2 more high.
So it looks like people feel this will have a
Right.
higher impact.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I'll take the next one. The next one is a clear strategy, timelines, stakeholders, path, and division of responsibility. So again, we do the same thing. Decide if this goes higher or lower than the other 2.
So anybody? Nothing. Higher, lower, lower, higher. Lower than both. Got one says higher, so somewhere between.
Okay, so we can say these 2 are the same, just
Okay,
for the sake of.
that's fine.
Okay, so next, we won't worry about this one just for time. We'll go on to the next step. We'll look at this first one here, the top highest impact solution. Would this one take a lot of effort or a high effort? So now
Low
we're going to go left to right, keeping it at the same level. Do you think this would take a lot of effort or not much effort? So maybe just tell me left or right.
I got high effort. Anybody else? You type in the chat, high effort, low effort. Medium
Okay.
effort. Okay, so yeah.
So kind of around there.
All right.
Okay, I'll take this next one, the regular meetings following a workflow process. Maybe we'll look at these 2 at the same time. Which one of these 2 do you think takes more effort? The regular meetings or clear strategy?
Go ahead and type your choice in the chat. We got clear strategy, more effort.
So
Okay,
clear strategy
anything
takes
else?
more effort.
Uh-huh.
Regular meetings has a little bit less effort. Is that represented okay?
All right, look at anybody else.
Okay,
Okay, well, for the sake of time, let's go
Okay,
ahead.
yeah,
and
we'll
say
go
this
with
is what
that.
they chose.
okay. So in this, so this one ended up in a do now section. This is like the low hanging fruit. This is something that won't take too much effort to try, and yet it'll have a high impact. So this might be the first thing you try. If you had anything that fell, so just suppose this one fell down here, it's low effort but low impact. So you could just, it's more of an administrative thing possibly, but it's something you could do, but just put it on the list. If something falls in this section, then just forget about it. If it's high effort and it's also low impact, then just forget about it. This one here, these are good ideas, but they're going to take more effort. So these ones, you'd make a project. This was the highest impact of the two. So this would be your first project, and this could be another project. So the next thing we do is take these over, and we're gonna make these solutions actionable.
So now we're going to abbreviate this, but typically what we do is we take our challenges. So we have 3. Usually you'd only do this if you had like 3 low-hanging fruits. This is what you want to tackle first. This is how to get your team focused on one thing, test it and knock it out. Now, these solutions we're not going to take them all the way to completion per se, but we're going to test them. That is the key. So I find it very interesting that our how might we was to ensure projects have actions, responsibilities assigned to accomplish the goal. So this is literally what we're doing right now. So we are assigning actions. We usually would assign at least 3 actions to test each solution. And then those would be brought up by either the facilitator or the team. And then we'd have volunteers come in and volunteer to take on those actions as a team. And then typically you would give yourself about 2 weeks to test. That way, what you're doing is you're testing ideas out, the three action steps out, coming back a week or 2 later, and having maybe like a basic retro saying, hey, what's working with this idea, what's not working, and should we go forward with it? That way you're sloughing off what doesn't work in a short amount of time, and then you're focusing down quickly on what is working, and then you can take that and iterate on that moving forward. So we've started again with a mass of problems, whittle those down to what was the most important problems, reframe the top 3, move forward with one, create a solution, select the top 3 solutions, and then prioritize them so we can get the easiest ones done first. And then after that, you can come back. And what you've done is actually created for yourself a a backlog of projects now that you know that have high priority. You're just moving through them as the priority comes to play. And what you'll often find is some of these high priority pieces that you finish and tested and create solutions will actually solve for some of the other problems you left behind. So by focusing down on what's most important, 9 times out of 10, you're going to solve for things that challenge that you left on the in the parking lot or on the board that didn't get voted up. And also this is an example of starting from a generalized problem. But now if you have another session like this, you can start from the how might we's and work through each one of those top ones, or you can start with the solutions and work through those. So your meetings are technically, or your sessions or your problem solving sessions get shorter and shorter and shorter until you need to come back and do a full retrospective like this, or a full workshop, a full LDJ. So they in fact help you shorten the time with your team towards creating solutions and actionable solutions and making people accountable by assigning these actions. So and normally we said we would put actions to these to test them and assign people for, and I personally like to do a 2-week turnaround. All right. Are there any questions? Where is it?
All right, so to summarize, today in a very short time, you aligned on a challenge, you came up with a mass of solutions, you prioritized the solutions, and you committed to the next steps to achieve your goal. We talked about first 3 tips for better collaboration and innovation, working together alone, discussions are visualized, and time boxing everything. Just being more intentional with this process can lead to more productive and inclusive meetings, better solutions, and bring out the best in your team. And just as a reminder, we're using like Miro today, but you can just use, you can use regular Post-its for in-person meetings, Post-its and a Sharpie and some sticky dots, and that's all you need to do this. Okay, so how can these workshops be used? They can be used to kick off a big project for a yearly retrospective. If you can't decide which product to develop first, there's a workshop for that. If you want to set a long-term goal or build a strategy, For a leadership retreat, basically anytime you need to bring a diverse team together to solve a big problem. Some more benefits are it builds trust and employee morale that comes from achieving goals together. And it saves time and money by solving problems quickly. And that's just about it. We would be happy to get in touch with you, connect with you on LinkedIn. If you have any questions, you can just DM us on LinkedIn. And if for anybody here, we are also offering a free 30-minute discovery call and innovation audit for your team. And I'll just post, if you want, you can also share your LinkedIn, but I'll just post our LinkedIns in the chat. Beyond that, thank you for participating so much. We would love to have your feedback and any comments or questions. And we're just going to take 2 minutes for this, and then if anybody has time to stay, we'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Yeah, and if you're still on after you're done, let us know how you're feeling at the end of this. There's the cage gauge is showing back up, and just drag your coin over once you're done. And then, yeah, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop your mute and let us know. Be happy to answer anything we can. So yeah, if you, again, want to get in touch with either one of us, feel free to reach out to us via LinkedIn. More than happy to we are both more than happy to let you know all the cool ways that this system can help you take even some of your projects and grow them into strategies, or take your longer term projects, create a concept around that project and put it on a roadmap so you kind of have a 6 month to a 1 year outlook on things you want to work on, and you have a place to start from. And the beauty of it, as you see how fast we can do it, and using your team, using the superpowers of your team, you already have those content experts. Let's go ahead and utilize them.
Thanks so much, everyone. And thanks so much, Matthew, for joining us. And thanks to Platform Calgary. And I hope you have a great innovation week.
Thank you very much.